Πού πάνε τα μελανοδοχεία του εκτυπωτή σας όταν αδειάσουν? Υπάρχει άραγε δεύτερη ζωή για τα εκατομμύρια των μικρών και μεγαλύτερων μελανοδοχείων που ολοκληρώνουν καθημερινά τον κύκλο ζωής τους στους κάθε λογής εκτυπωτές τους οποίους χρησιμοποιούμε στο γραφείο ή στο σπίτι? Μεγάλο ποσοστό, που ίσως να ξεπερνάει και το 60%, καταλήγει στην καλύτερη των περιπτώσεων στην υγειονομική ταφή, στη χειρότερη στα κοινά σκουπίδια. Κακό του κεφαλιού μας, γιατί τα μελανοδοχεία που θα καταλήξουν εκεί όχι μόνο μολύνουν το περιβάλλον λειτουργώντας ως απόβλητα, αλλά παράλληλα μας στερούν από πολύτιμες πρώτες ύλες, τις οποίες μπορούμε να ξανακερδίσουμε με την κατάλληλη επεξεργασία των άδειων πια κουτιών σε ειδικά κέντρα ανακύκλωσης μελανοδοχείων. Ένα από αυτά στη γερμανική πόλη Τερνάου, στο οποίο καταλήγουν τα εκατοντάδες χιλιάδες μελανοδοχεία που συγκεντρώνονται μέσω του εκτεταμένου προγράμματος ανακύκλωσης της Hewlett-Packard, επισκέφτηκε πρόσφατα το Pathfinder και σας μεταφέρει την εμπειρία του.
So you wanted to understand a little bit more about the 1 billion customers that we have and how we can help them in terms of changing their habits at the end of the day. So we have to look at it as two separate pieces. One is like our business customers, our enterprise customers, small and medium companies, and the other one is our consumers, so the people that buy products to use at home. What we're trying to do is make it very, very easy for them, as you've seen today, in terms of returning their equipment, both hardware and supplies, for recycling. So we offer them free, easy, convenient options to do that. That's for both businesses and consumers.
HP has manufactured 1 billion inkjet cartridges with recycled content. And there's really three, I think, big focus areas that we talked about that are unique to HP and that allowed us to get to this point. The first one is we have a very extensive product program to take back our cartridges. Our Planet Partners program is available in 50 countries around the world, 35 countries across Europe. And what that does is give customers a free way to get cartridges back to HP. It could be that they download a shipping label and send it back directly. It could be they go to a retailer and return the cartridges, or it could be that they're in a business that has a bin that HP's provided that they can toss cartridges into, and then that comes back to HP. That program, the breadth of that program, is something that unique to HP and something that we're committed to expanding. And part of why we're talking to you today is to ensure customers know about Planet Partners and that we can get those cartridges back.
And it's about using tools, techniques, solutions to reduce the amount of energy that your products are using. When you buy a HP product, for example, if we take a notebook, the notebook will come with some of its environmental settings already preset. So you'll notice things like the screen will blank out after maybe 10-15 minutes, again to save energy. You'll notice that the disk will spin down, or the device will go into standby. You can put the device into hibernate. You can use all of these settings to manage the energy consumption of your product. I'm not going to just say from the environmental perspective, because if we're talking about a notebook, you're also extending battery life as well. So you get two benefits there at the end of the day. Again, when we start to look at double-sided printing, you'll find that most HP printers now come with a duplex feature. Others that don't will come. You are able to turn the paper over, but again, how many people actually do that in reality? So again, if you purchase a duplex printer, you're saving paper, you're saving in terms of the environment, and you're saving energy as well.
Second thing we talked about was around our process to use recycled content in our products. So we use up to 70% recycled content in our inkjet cartridges. What we've done is developed a unique process that can take recycled material, including material from water bottles. We put in a little secret sauce, if you will, a compound that we've developed into that recycled material, and that allows us to what we call upcycle that material. So taking a low value water bottle as an example and creating a high value inkjet cartridge from the recycled material of that water bottle is yet a second thing that we talked a lot about. And again, we've created 1 billion cartridges including this recycled material. And the last thing that we've done is, and that's unique to HP, is combine the two. Is say, hey, we have all these cartridges we've taken back. We know how to use recycled material in our products, let's combine the two and close the loop. Take cartridges that we take back, grind them up, introduce the compound, toss in some water bottles, and create a new inkjet cartridge. And we've done that again and again and again. And in fact, we believe some of our cartridges in the market today have gone through that process anywhere from 6 to 10 times. Today, again, as I mentioned, we use up to 70% recycled material in our printer cartridges. We have a number of hardware products that include recycled content as well. In fact, we have a DeskJet printer in the US that's roughly 80%. We have another one we talked about today here that's available in Europe. That's one of our DeskJet products that has 35% recycled content. And we're continuing to work on process improvements and innovations that will allow us to increase those numbers even further.
Today, lots of people are concentrating on energy in use phase. So people say, you know, this product uses this much energy during its lifetime in the use phase. And when we say use phase, this is when it's plugged into the wall and you're using it as a product. One of the things that we're starting to look at is the embedded energy. So this is about how much energy is actually, excuse me, how much energy is actually used to manufacture the product. So it can go all the way from the extraction of raw materials to processing a material, putting it all together in the product. Then you start to look at the transport and logistics of getting it to where it's going, then the use phase, and then finally the end of life and what happens with recycling. We call this whole life cycle. It's also when you start to think about embedded carbon, but a lot of customers are also starting to think about something called total cost of ownership.
This process has allowed us to do is have a pretty significant impact on reducing the environmental footprint of our products. The biggest impact you can measure in terms of carbon, and what we believe through an LCA analysis that we've done is when you compare getting virgin plastic and using virgin plastic in our manufacturing versus using recycled plastic, we've actually reduced the carbon footprint by about 22%. So a pretty significant impact. We've also reduced by about half the amount of petroleum that's used, if you could again look at this from a total LCA perspective. And we've also had a dramatic impact on water use. Around 70% less water is used in the process, comparing again virgin plastic to recycled plastic.
And one of the examples I always like to give is that as a large organisation, what companies tend to look at, you have procurement officers or managers, and they will be given a budget. So they'll be given a budget to buy 1,000 notebooks, for example. What they will do then is try to get those notebooks at the cheapest price possible. We talk about value for money. What they don't look at is that it might be slightly more expensive up front to buy a more energy efficient product. Okay, over its whole life cycle, it will use less energy, and thus its total life cost or whole life cost is actually less. But what we see is that the procurement people are given a set amount to buy the product. They say, you know, it's the real estate people, or when it goes to the offices, they pay for the energy, so they don't join all of this up together. And then when you say, well, what about recycling at end of life? And they say, well, that happens at end of life. So it's about trying to join all of this together and call it a whole life cycle at the end of the day.
But we're not done. We actually have some process improvements that we announced and talked about today. A new tool that we'll be using that will allow us to take the cartridges apart prior to shredding, which will increase the efficiency that we have. And with that, in addition to some other process improvements and expansion of our Planet Partners program, we believe we'll be able to end up at a place where we reduce the environmental footprint, the carbon footprint, by about a third, 33% reduction, almost a 90% reduction in water, etc. So again, we've made a lot of progress, we believe, and we want to continue to push forward, and we have some good ideas on how to do that.